Good evening, everybody. Welcome. The date is October 3rd, 2022. The time is now 7 o'clock p.m. We will be having a public hearing on 4 city ordinances that have gone through the process of first reading. The first one will be ordinance number 1086 concerning amending Chapter 205 zoning as it pertains to accessory dwelling units. And normally what I do is I'll call on anyone who fills out a form ahead of time, but I don't have any forms filled out. I don't have any forms filled out ahead of time on 1086. What I'll do is I'll call on the audience in general. Is there anybody here this evening wishes to speak on ordinance 1086? Okay. Any comments from the council on 1086? Okay, without public comment, I now call public hearing on ordinance 1086 to be closed. We will move on to public hearing on ordinance 1087. It's an ordinance concerning amending Chapter 205 of zoning as it pertains to the lot of record. Madam Secretary, can you please read the header to this ordinance, please?
Okay, an ordinance by the Mayor and City Council of Havre, Maryland, adopted pursuant to the authority of Article 11-E of the Maryland Constitution, the local government article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, and Sections 33 and 34 of the Havre City Charter to amend Chapter 205 zoning as it pertains to lot of record.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary. At this time, is there anyone in the audience this evening who wishes to speak on ordinance 1087? Sir. Good evening. Welcome to the public hearing. May you please have your name and address for the record?
Good evening, Mayor and Council and city staff and people in the audience. My name is Jim Miller. I live down at 320 Lewis Street in the R1 district, which is also in the heart of the historic district of Havre de Grace. Just a couple comments on the ordinance as proposed. On line 45 and 46, it says setbacks are required to meet building standards for fire safety and other safety standards. I would like to see you define what those other safety standards are, so in the future, when someone comes and wants to build something, they know what they have to put up with. And as a point of reference, I just went through like all the lot sizes east of Route 40. Took me a couple weeks to do that. There are 15 lots in the city, lots of record, that are under 1,500 square feet. And there's one that's like 275 square feet. So when you take 25% of that, it doesn't give a person much room to build a tiny house, which is, you know, bigger than some apartments. And that's all that was my only question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Miller. Anyone else in the audience wish to speak on 1087? Sir.
Hello, Mayor.
It's not a problem.
Yeah, I could run up here. You can't do that.
Good evening and welcome, sir. May we please have your name and address for the record?
Alan Fair, 3 Concord Place, Havre de Grace, Maryland, 21078.
Welcome.
On this lot sizes, as an example, now they're going to require 10 foot on each side of a house. Okay, lots of record as an example, Girard Street, I've got some 25-foot lots. Been there forever. That means I got to build a 15-foot wide house. Is that correct?
Mr. Boursier.
I would generally say no, but it would depend on the lot size, not just the width. And then I would also need to know the zoning district. So there's a couple questions in there before I could give a specific answer. But there's a place at Warren Street that was looked at recently by Habitat for Humanity, and based on the lot size, they were still able to keep the lot of record requirements. So they were only required to do a 5-foot setback from the property line, which follows fire code. And then because they were next to the road, it was only a 1-foot setback to the right of way because there was nothing next to them. So it was only 5 foot one way, 1 foot the other way. So we're able to be flexible, but I can't give an exact answer on your situation unless I knew the zoning district and the lot area.
Well, basically, it's 25 at 100 deep. So you're 2,500.
Anything under 3,000 still follows the lot of record rules.
Okay. Then on Freedom Lane, we've got 3 lots that we're probably putting back into 2 lots. They're 80 foot deep, and they'll be ballpark right around 25 wide. Right now, they're like 18 foot wide.
That'll still put you under 3,000. So anything under 3,000 square feet, no matter what zoning district you're in, as long as it followed the previous lot of record rules, that it was recorded before March 1982 when the zoning code was put in, you'll be able to, you won't have to follow the standards. Just the safety standards that we spoke about. And just to be a little more specific towards what Mr. Miller said, that would be 5-foot setbacks from the property line because of fire.
Well, to give you an idea, before your time here, my partner, Marilyn Snyder, and I, A&M Properties, we bought and tore down 9 houses on Gerard Street. It was the worst street in Havre. Drugs, crime, and rather than keeping the houses and fixing them up, some of them were livable, we didn't do that. So we cleaned up the whole area. So I don't want to be penalized for something we did over a 15, 20-year period. Okay.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fair.
Sure.
Who else in the audience wishes to speak on ordinance 1087? Any comments from the council on 1087? Okay, without any further comments, I now declare ordinance 1087 public hearing to be closed. The time is 7:08. We'll move to public hearing for ordinance 1088 concerning an agreement with the Havre Grace Green Team for the food forest at Todd Park. Madam Secretary, could you please read the header?
An ordinance by the Mayor and City Council of Havre de Grace, Maryland, adopted pursuant to the authority of Article 11-E of the Maryland Constitution, the local government article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, and Sections 33 and 34 of the Havre de Grace City Charter, to enter into an agreement with the Havre de Grace Green Team, LTD, as it relates to a food forest on city property at Todd Park.
Thank you very much. And before I call on the audience at large, I do have one citizen who pre-filled out a form, and I'd like to call Mr. Kirk Smith. Good evening, Mr. Smith, and welcome. May you please have your address for the record.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, citizens, staff. My name is Kirk Smith, 840 Otsego, Havre de Grace, Maryland, 21078. I am here to speak for the food forest. As many of you all know, I helped dig the first hole with the mayor. We shoveled a bunch of compost in there, come out there smelling good, I think. Well, I tend to think so, and Monica Worrell was the one that helped push that for me. And besides that growth, we planted over 204 other trees, besides the 50 or so trees for the food forest in that immediate area. Some of them flowering, some of them not, some of them doing well in the horseshoe, some of them not. That's to be expected. It's all in support of our citizens, our new apiary that's over there. Again, I thank you. The City Council, the staff, administration has did a phenomenal job, in my opinion, with that small little section of town. The volunteers have done incredible. When we first inventoried that spot, just to spell out the acreage and everything else for what we thought, and to get a soil sample, we picked up 3 bags of everything from broken glass to paraphernalia, let's just call it that, and other bad things. And during the 4 visits that we made there, we never seen any children in the open spaces with parents or not. In the last couple of years, since it's been really nice, we have seen a lot more parents with children in the open space area. And while I don't believe that all of the turnover has mentioned for, landlords to renters in that specific section of town, what the food forest is for, there are people that come over and ask anybody that's over there taking care of the trees, or anybody that's actually picking it, if that's allowed. So we, of course, encourage it. We offer everything. There's hazelnuts growing there, elderberries. Just, it's amazing what you can do with a couple of 3 branches of elderberries. You just loosen the soil and stick it in the ground, isn't it? That tree's over 15 foot by 15 foot now. Our fig tree started out as just a lowly Chicago fig, because that's what we could afford. It is now sitting at just over 12 foot tall. It's very flexible, and as we assume, being as how it hails as a hardy fig from Chicago, it would do well here. The green team has actually started another fig tree from the original fig tree just by bending a branch and burying it and weighing it down to the ground, and that has actually produced figs this year, because Chicago hardy figs will grow on old and new wood, whereas your brown and turkey figs, as the council president and I were talking with, will only grow on old wood, but they are a sweeter fig, there's no doubt about it. So I would like to encourage you all, the point where I brought in what I feel is a sample of what we were able to harvest there in our own yard, because we're growing our own figs, and what we bought at the farmer's market, our local Havre de Grace farmer's market, because we like to keep it simple and local when we're canning, of some fig and pear chutney. This pairs well with any white wine, which is in abundance right down at our farmers markets or locally. Goes well with pork, especially if you're going to do pork rolls or something similar, or any other type of fowl. Enjoy, and please continue supporting the Green Team and their mission. I am just a gardener, but it's an important mission to me, and that's why I helped get it going where it is. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Smith. Any other citizen in the audience wish to speak on ordinance 1088? Any comments from council? Okay, without any further comments on ordinance 1088, I now declare it closed for public hearing. The time is now 7:13. Our final ordinance for a public hearing is going to be ordinance 1089, which is concerning a tax waiver for 1830 Pulaski Highway. Madam Secretary, could you please read the header?
An ordinance by the Mayor and City Council of Havre de Grace, Maryland, adopted pursuant to the authority of Article 11-E of the Maryland Constitution, the local government article of the annotated Code of Maryland, and Sections 33 and 34 of the Havre de Grace City Charter, to waive a portion of property taxes for property located at 1830 Pulaski Highway, tax ID number 06-002501.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary. Ordinance 1089 concerning a tax waiver for 1830 Pulaski Highway. Anybody here in the audience tonight wish to speak on that ordinance? Comments from council? Okay. Without any comments from citizens or council, I now declare public hearing on ordinance 1089 to be closed. Time is 7:14. Okay, those are our 4 ordinances for public hearing this evening. We will be commencing with a regularly scheduled council meeting, but as you may have noticed on this evening's agenda, before we go into the council meeting this evening, we're going to observe a moment we've been waiting for 3 years. Many of you know that the city of Havre de Grace has twinned with a beautiful town in Wales called Mumbles. And 3 years ago, a handful of our citizens went over there to meet our friends across the sea, and we signed a charter over there in a beautiful hall in the town of Swansea. And now we're going to reciprocate, and a delegation of citizens from Mumbles came to visit us, and they've been here for the last week and joined the United States, many of whom for the first time. And they've been staying with their host in Havre de Grace. And this evening, we're going to sign the same duplicate charter, but our version of it, which we keep here. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to take a few minutes, but we're going to set up a table and some flags. And if you're in the audience, I ask you to stay and join us, stay here for a little bit. At the conclusion of this charter signing, we'll take a brief couple-minute just recess, get everything put back away, and then we'll begin our regularly scheduled council meeting. So, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, good. Where do you want me? It's great. Okay, good evening. Thank you all for your patience, and my citizens who came to join us this evening for the council meeting, thank you for your patience, and I'd like to introduce you to our friends who came from far away, from Mumbles, to be with us this evening. So bear with us. This is our first charter signing here in the city of Havre de Grace. I'm sure as we twin with other cities around the world, we will be getting better at this. But ladies and gentlemen, as I said briefly before, 3 years ago, a nice group of, it was about 16 people?
There were 20 altogether.
20 altogether, okay, 20. 20 Havre de Grace citizens on their own account, own expense, made a trip over to Mumbles in Wales, just south of the city of Swansea. And this really was the brainchild of Miss Debbie Sathis here with her friends Carrie Townsend and her husband David. And she came to us and said, you know, I'm from this town in Wales called Mumbles. It's very similar to the city of Havre de Grace. And I said, okay. So she started talking about it and showing pictures. And, you know, they're amazing similarities. And you've heard us talk about this before. I mean, beautiful lighthouse and promenades and, you know, historic areas and waterfront, water view vistas that are phenomenal, just like here in Havre de Grace. And we said, you know, that sounds like fun. Let's go over and meet these nice people. And it's called twinning. And it's really big in Europe. I don't know how many people have twinned with American cities, but it's got to be a pretty unique experience so far away. And I, for one, had the most wonderful 3 or 4 days. I was there more brief, truncated than my fellow other 18 folks. And Fred Wills in the audience here was my airplane passenger. And you learn to drive on the left-hand side of the road fast. And but we had a wonderful time. And our friends in Mumbles, I would call, without even hesitation, honorary Havre de Grace citizens. They're gracious. They love the history of their city. They volunteer. They like parks. They love the waterfront beauty. They're about, you know, keeping their culture and their heritage of their town intact. So many things that we do here in the city of Havre de Grace. And they were supposed to come back over here the following year in 2020, in October. And we all know that things got a little complicated around the world in 2020, and 2021 came and went, and now they're here with us today. And we've all been waiting for this moment for a very long time, for me to have a chance to introduce you to our friends. And there's many more people involved in the twinning than just the folks who are here this evening, but for various reasons, some of them couldn't make it over here on the trip. So before I'm going to ask Debbie, who's the chair of the Twinning Commission, because when we came back from our trip from Wales, we established a Twinning Commission. That way we could keep a good relationship going between Mumbles and the city of Havre de Grace. And should any other town in any other part of America or the world wish to twin, we would have a cultural exchange commission headed by Debbie and a great group of volunteers. Please raise your hand if you're on the commission in the audience. Excellent. Thank you very much. There's great citizens on this commission that keeps it a very viable commission. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to have Debbie say a few words, and then David Townsend Jones, who made the trip over, and his wife, Carrie, was supposed to be here. He can explain that to you in a second. But she is the chair of the Mumbles Community Council, which is like the equivalent of their mayor. And she is very much involved in this whole twinning exercise that we're doing. And I actually had the pleasure of staying with David and his wife, Carrie, with Fred and I when we were over there. So Debbie's going to say a few words, and then I'd be honored if David could say a few words and speak on behalf of his citizens. And then after that, I'd like to observe the anthems of our two nations, and then we will proceed to sign a charter, which is the exact duplicate charter of the one we signed 3 years ago over in Mumbles. And so, with that said, Debbie.
Tonight it's taken 3 years, and people are here, and it's absolutely wonderful that our visitors have come. And we're happy to welcome more when more can come next time, and establish a wonderful relationship with Havre Grace. And I hope we've had a good time, and the people who are volunteering and helping and working hard with Havre Grace Twinning are absolutely wonderful. Thank you all so much. Thank you for people who came. Thank you for people who have gotten everything ready and done. It's a wonderful collaboration and wonderful friendship, and it shall continue. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Unmuting.
Am I audible? Yes? Good. I think I'm here under false pretenses, really, standing here, because I am no longer the chair of the Twinning Association at Mumbles. Our esteemed Anne Smith is the chair now, but because we're going back in time to 2019, it's my name that's on the charter, so that's why I'm here. Well, as Mayor Martin said, Carrie, my wife, couldn't be here. I think 3 words sum up the reason why. US Homeland Security had other ideas. There we are. However, she's here very much in spirit, and she extends cordial greetings from Mumbles Community Council. And she asked me, on behalf of herself, to present this small gift from Mumbles Community Council
Excellent.
to
City of Havre Grace.
City
Okay.
of Havre Grace.
You brought this with you all the way over from?
Okay.
Okay.
All the way.
I'm telling you. Security at Heathrow let you go through this?
They did. It's neutral. Still in one piece.
Success.
The Story of the Welsh Love Spoon. And it's engraved MCC, which means Mumbles Community Council,
That's right.
and Havre Grace,
Yeah.
and the Welsh Dragon.
Yeah.
What's the story behind this, David?
The story behind the Welsh Love Spoons? Well, does anybody really know the story behind the Welsh Love Spoons? It's a,
Give me a second, I'll tell you.
yes.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Friendship and love and,
Friendship,
and,
love,
and,
and
a
particularly
strong
love.
bond. That's what, okay.
Particularly love, yes.
Absolutely. Well, I accept this with great gratitude, as it will be displayed in City Hall. Thank you, David. Thank you. Wonderful.
Also, Bill, this is a present from Carrie and me to you.
Thank you.
Because you're our friend.
Well, thank you so much. This is a, oh. Thank you very much. I never knew until I got to Wales that there's Welsh whiskey.
Yes.
Which I should have known.
Yes.
Which I should have known that the Welsh made some darn good whiskey, because, where does the best American bourbon come from? Whiskey comes from the Appalachians.
Yes.
And who are some of the most numerous people that settled the Appalachians? The Welsh.
Yeah.
So I should have known when I got to Wales, I was in good company. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for the Twinning Association book. Thank you very much.
Yes. There's
This
a lot
is
about
great.
Havre Grace in there, because during that period,
This is
of
wonderful.
course, we joined up with you guys.
And like I said, so my citizens know when they come down Superior Street, or Route 155, there's a sign on the right before you turn on Juniata that says City of Havre de Grace twinned with Mumbles, Wales. And I want everyone to know that on a beautiful location right near the water, there's a sign that says Mumbles and then twinned with Havre de Grace, Maryland, with our flag right next to it, 3,000 miles away. So the respect and friendship is mutual on both sides. I can guarantee you that. So David, thank you so much for your graciousness. You think Carrie's up right now watching this live?
If it's on live, she will be, yes.
Okay, well, I just want to say hello to
Carrie,
Carrie, and I'm sorry you couldn't make it, Carrie. And I'm very, very grateful for the gifts.
Yeah.
Does anyone else in your delegation wish to speak?
And
We would love to hear from you. You've come a long way.
All I'd like to do is to thank,
Microphone? Oh, there you go.
I think our delegation, small as it is, would like to thank the whole of Havre de Grace for their very, very warm welcome. And to point out, in this rather dodgy world we're going through at the moment, these individual friendships that we're making on a very small level, I know, but I think in the future they matter more than you can imagine. They may change things for the better, may help us to understand each other, and maybe change politics at a higher level. So I think they're very, very important. So thank you for your welcome, and we look forward to seeing you back again in Mumbles very soon.
And you'll see us soon, I promise.
Thank
you for your words. Thank you. Anyone else? Well, before we start the charter signing, hold this please, thank you. I do want to thank my citizens of Havre de Grace who graciously opened up their homes for our visitors. So they're sitting here right now with their friends, and so thank you very much, because without you, this wouldn't be possible either. So that's a big part of twinning, is letting people. It's not about going and staying at hotels; it's about staying with the people, so you get to learn exactly. So, like I said, it's without a doubt. Even though we may have different words for different things, or we may arguably drive on the wrong side of the road, but I will say that there's everything in common. There's very little differences that exist 3,000 miles apart from one civilized nation to another. And so I said, and as your words say, maybe our friendship just gives us more hope and things to look forward to. So I look forward to signing a charter. And what I'd like to do at this moment, if I could ask everyone who's visiting from Mumbles, if you could join us up here. And I'll ask my 4 council members if you could join me. And then when I give the cue, we'll play our anthems, and then we will sign our charter. Thank you. Casey, would you like to say a few words because you went there?
It's okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry. All right. Okay. We can line up here. We can come on over here. Come over this way. You can stand over this way here. We can.
Do we have to sing it in Welsh?
You don't have to. You go la la la.
Okay. We say watermelon, watermelon, watermelon.
Exactly.
Anthems, please. Wonderful. Well done. Thank you so much. If I could ask David and Debbie to join me for the signing. And everyone can stand here. You can stand right behind us, absolutely. My counsel could join us. Oh, I'm sorry. Put the lady in the middle chair.
Yeah, and hand
I
out.
was thinking about it. Okay, so I guess we remove this parchment paper. Thanks. Okay. I take it you know where these seals go. Right there. And one there. Okay. David?
We have the same signatures. Seal.
Okay.
Get another copy.
Okay. Well done, then. So we hold it up? Yep.
Really, really pretty.
We'll see if I can hold this board
The
here.
charter is an absolute work of beauty. It is
Got-
English on one side, Welsh on the other. It was created by a marvelous calligrapher, Judith Porch, who then, recreated the charter for us. In Wales, the Welsh is on the left side and English on the other side. So this is stunning.
We could, the three of us could stand here, David, and we'll hold one up and for the photographer to take a picture. We'll hold it up. Okay. Council? Wonderful, perfect. This is splendid.
I've got to go back across
Well,
For
right
one
now,
more
the next one's
signature.
gonna go in my suitcase and go back to Mum, to be signed by Carrie.
Yes, we need one more signature on there, and that individual is in Mumbles. And so this will be taking a trip before it comes back to City Hall. So it's a well-traveled document. Good luck going through Heathrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, everybody. David? Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you. Honored to be part of it. Okay. All right. I think we're good. We're going to take like a 5-minute recess just to put everything away and get everything squared away, and then we'll start our council meeting. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The date is October 3rd, 2022. I call to order a meeting of the Havre de Grace Mayor and City Council. The time is now 8:04 p.m. I will call the roll. Council President Ringsacker.
Here.
Councilmember Martin. Councilmember Robertson.
Here.
Councilmember Boyer.
Here.
Councilmember Zinner. Councilmember Shanegas.
Here.
Okay. Please join me for roll call and pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If I could ask everyone to please kindly remain standing, as it gives me pleasure to invite up Dalola Carmichael. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. Thank you for your patience. And we appreciate being here. Thank you.
I want to give honor to God, my pastor, Bishop Harry T. Lee Sr., to the mayor, Martin, to the president and members of the council. I thank the Lord for being here. I thank him for this honor and privilege of prayer. And I will do that at this time. Lord God, we come in the mighty name of Jesus, a name that is above every name, a name that every knee is going to bow and every tongue is going to confess that you are Lord, to the glory of the Father. God, we thank you for your love and for your kindness and being in your mighty works, God. Lord, we ask you to look on us, God, and search our hearts, Lord. And everything that is not like you, we're asking that you take it out, Lord Jesus. But, oh God, that you would put more of your love and more of your peace and more of your joy in place of it, God. We're asking, oh God, that you would bless this council, God. Give us wise counsel, Lord. Settle every dispute, Lord. We thank you for each and every one that's here, every home that is represented. Thank you for allowing us just to wake up this morning. Thank you for bringing us over the highways to this meeting, Lord. Oh God, meet every need. You know what everyone needs. We ask you to grant those needs according to your riches and glory. God, most of all, we thank you for salvation through your precious blood that you shed on Calvary, God. And we just thank you for everything. These and all the blessings we ask in the mighty name of Jesus, and for his sake we ask it. Amen, and thank you.
Amen. Thank you so much for your kind words tonight, and thank you for your patience. Thank you. Okay, we're going to item 5, the approval of the minutes. City Council meeting minutes, September 19th, 2022. Council, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Councilmember Boyer, seconded by Councilmember Shanegas. Questions or comments on the meeting minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. City Council meeting minutes of September 19, 2022 are approved 4-0 in the affirmative. Item 6, comments from citizens. This is the part of the evening agenda where if you wish to comment on an item that is on the agenda, this is the time to do so. But it's also the time of the evening if you are here because you wish to speak of any matter of city business, this is also the time to do so as well. Normally what I do when we get to citizen comments is I will call first on citizens who pre-filled out a form to speak, whether online or here at City Hall. And after that, what I'll do is I'll call on people at large. So if you didn't fill a form out, don't worry, I'll get to you in a matter of time. Here, so I'd like to call forward Ms. Carrie Parsons. Good evening and welcome, Ms. Parsons. May you please have your address for the record?
It's Carrie Parson, 840 Otsego, here in Havre de Grace.
Welcome.
Thank you. Mayor, council members, citizens, regarding resolution for the establishment of a truck traffic work group. Councilmember Boyer, thank you. Chief, thank you. I greatly appreciate, finally, we actually are seeing some progress from our council members and from the city regarding the citizen safety. This is going to be just one small piece, I think, moving forward on being able to make our streets a little bit safer. And unfortunately, the one thing that we can control is the truck traffic. I would greatly appreciate the council to go forth and encourage not only this resolution, but the establishment of other working groups to be able to make our downtown roads a lot safer. And I think it will also benefit the police department and other areas, especially our public works, when they're outside having to deal with traffic control, and especially during our festivals. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Parsons. I'd like to call forward Ms. Carol Allen.
Good evening. My address is 814 Market Street, but I'm here tonight in my role as director for Concord Point Lighthouse. And I just wanted to let you know I'm here if you have any questions when we get to the agenda item on Tails and Treats. And also to just give a shout out to Tammy Brinkman and to Bambi Johnson and to the mayor and the city council for working with us to find creative ways to enable the lighthouse to be open both for festival goers and for people who are not attending festivals when we have these large events at Concord Point Park. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Ms. Allen. Thank you. I'd like to call forward Mr. Fred Wills. Good evening, Mr. Wills. Welcome. May we please have your address for the record?
Thank you, Mayor, Council, citizens, and directors. My name is Fred Wills. I'm 311D Redhead Way, Havre, Grace. I'm here to talk tonight about the annual Thanksgiving dinner and to inform the citizenry, as well as yourselves, about how it'll be structured this year. As you know, we've had to make modifications in the last two years, and this one's the same. This year, it will be on Thanksgiving Day, as always, November 4th. We're going to have the volunteers showing up around 8 o'clock, but we want to do it in waves. Last 2 years, we've had one set of volunteers for the entire time to keep the numbers down. We're going to do 2-hour shifts, 8, 10, and noon this year. So we'll get about 50 people in at 8, 50 at 10, and 50 at noon. Of course, we still need volunteers to deliver all the meals. This year, we're going to deliver 1,400 meals to basically the Havre, Grace, Aberdeen, and Perryville, plus a little further. And we're going to have another 100 meals ready at noon to 12:30. And these are, by the way, in front of all of you, if you need to know any details, so you have it right, Risa. This year, which we're giving some walk-up capability to take home. The other part of the meal is if you want to volunteer or help, you call Don Osmond. Don Osmond's number is 410-939-5412. If you want to donate anything, you call myself, Fred Wills. My number is 732-614-6178. I'd like to also say to everyone, save your points. We need turkeys this year. Any other goods you have would be great. And also, when they have the Oyster Fest, we're having the Oyster Fest, sir.
Yes, sir.
Don't forget you can direct your donation to the Thanksgiving dinner. We'll be one of the groups this year. Any questions from the council? Mayor?
Councilmember Boyer?
Just so I collect my Weiss points, do I give you my Weiss points or do I give you the turkey?
I'll meet you there when you pick it up, and I'll take it from you.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
How many turkeys are you going to need to do this?
It'll be, and we do it by weight, so it depends on how big they are, but it averages to about 125 to 130.
It's amazing what you do, and the amount of volunteers that come out. The
Yeah, it'll be the same thing this year.
precision that you have is amazing.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Any other questions?
Thanks for your time
Thank you, Mr.
tonight.
Wills. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate it. I believe that is all the pre-filled out forms I have for public comment. I'll open up the audience at large. Anybody have a comment on agenda items or any other city business matter? Sir.
Yes, can I talk about my event, Veterans Day? Is that possible?
Please come up to the podium. Absolutely. Welcome. Just need your name and address for the record.
My name is Dr. Christopher Nguyen, 363 Green Street, Havre Grace.
Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I'm a dentist here locally in Havre Grace, and I'm currently the president of Havre Cecil Dental Society. I started Veterans Day from the Heart in 2017 to thank those who serve in the armed services. Most of you may not know, 90% of veterans do not have dental insurance. And we really want to help out. So it's going to be at my office on October 29th from 9 to 3 p.m. And the procedures that we're doing is pretty much providing veterans at no cost, fillings, extractions, root canals, cleanings, things like that. And appointments pretty much are guaranteed that they call our office to do that. And I'm just requesting 3 parking spaces in front of my office. We're going to have some music outside. That way we have some room for veterans to come in and things like that. So I'm asking permission on that day.
Yeah. All right. We can arrange it. No, not a problem.
Okay.
Not a problem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate what you do.
Sir, if I may, you were here before, correct? Yes. Yeah, I remember the event from last time you were here. Yes. Outstanding job. Good work you're doing for the community.
Thank you very much, sir. Anyone else in the audience wish to comment? Any comments from the council? Okay, we'll move on our agenda. Okay, item number 7, appointments this evening. We have no appointments. Item number 8, recognitions. We have no recognitions this evening. Item number 9, proclamations. We have no proclamations on this evening's agenda. Item 10, presentations. We also have none. That takes us to resolution. We have 2. And the first resolution is going to be concerning the establishment of a truck traffic work group. And I'll hand that off to the Chair of the Public Safety Committee, Councilmember Boyer.
Mayor, I move that we introduce a resolution concerning the establishment of a truck traffic work group.
Council, I have a motion by Councilmember Boyer. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Schneges. This is a motion to introduce a resolution concerning establishment of truck traffic work group. This is a introduction. Questions or comments on the introduction of this resolution? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Motion to introduce a resolution carries 4-0 in the affirmative. This is going to be resolution 2022-28. Madam Secretary, could you please read the header of this resolution into the record?
Yes. Resolution by the Mayor and City Council of Havre de Grace, Maryland, pursuant to the local government article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, Chapter 379 of the 2022 Laws of Maryland City Code, Section 25 through 68, and Sections 33 and 34 of the City Charter, to establish the Truck Traffic Work Group.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary. Council, I have a motion to adopt resolution 2022-28.
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Boyer, seconded by Council President. Questions or comments on the resolution?
Mayor?
Councilmember Boyer?
Thank you, Mayor. So, as Ms. Parsons had said, that we've been hearing about this for quite some time in the Street and Traffic Safety Committee. Citizens from Erie Street especially, major concerns whenever there is an accident on Route 40 or 95, what happens is that the waves, I know, I'm trying to think of like what is a term that gets all of the traffic direction apps are sending people down 155 and then up, and then they end up turning them around in order to get onto 40 over the bridge using Erie Street. The city has made it so that, you know, there's a sign posted that there is no truck traffic on Erie Street, but it still happens. I regularly, and I'm sure all of us regularly, hear from citizens complaining about the fact when there's an accident, they cannot move their cars. They can't get off that street. Very few people on that street have driveways, So they all have to park along the street. At one time, we had the street as a one-way, but then we were forced to turn that around by the state. So we've tried a wide variety of things. We were lucky this year that Senator Castley proposed a bill in Annapolis, and it passed, Senate Bill 642, which allows the use of vehicle monitoring systems to record excessive heights, or let me sort of do that, record images exceeding the predetermined height. What this is going to allow us to do is to, if we go through all the path to do it, to put up a system to basically ticket trucks that are over whatever height that we determine on that road, and those funds come back to the city versus going back to the state. In order to do this, however, according to the legislation, there's several things that we have to put into place. One of which is a work group that looks at truck traffic for our jurisdiction. And quite frankly, I think this is a great thing because there are several roads within Havre de Grace where you really can't get anybody to tell you why is a truck not allowed on here and does it make sense, or is there a way for us to work with the businesses in town that have large trucks to redirect and maybe get the message out. So hopefully using this incremental steps that we can help to address this issue for the people of Erie Street who are just desperate to figure out a way, because there's an accident now on 95 basically twice a week, and they cannot get off their street when that happens. Looking down my notes to see if there's anything. I don't think that is mainly it. We've discussed this a number of times within our committee. We brought it up as an action for the city council to discuss down in Annapolis, and that's how we found out about the legislation had already been passed. Harford County is pursuing it for different places within the county. I believe there's 3 locations, including Perryman, which is, and they have to go through the same process as we do to be able to implement this for the county. So we are actually ahead of the game from the county by doing this. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Boyer. Any other questions or comments? Okay, without further questions or comments, this is a resolution, so I'll be requiring a roll call vote. Roll call vote for Resolution 2022-28. Councilmember Shanegas.
Yes.
Councilmember Boyer.
Yes.
Councilmember Robertson.
Yes.
Council President Ringsager.
Yes.
A roll call vote of 4-0 in the affirmative. Resolution 2022-28 is adopted and approved by council. Item B will be a resolution concerning a lease agreement for the installation of historic artifacts at 115 Market Street. And this will go to Councilmember Shanegas.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, I move to introduce resolution concerning a lease agreement for installation of historic artifacts at 115 Market Street.
Second.
Council, I have a motion by Councilmember Shanegas, seconded by Councilmember Boyer. This is a motion to introduce a resolution. Questions or comments on the introduction? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Motion to introduce a resolution carries 4-0 in the affirmative. This will become Resolution 2022-29. Madam Secretary, could you please read the header into the record?
Yes, a resolution by the Mayor and City Council of Havre de Grace, Maryland, pursuant to Sections 33 and 34 of the City Charter and the Local Government Article of the Annotated Code of Maryland for approval of a lease agreement for the installation of historic artifacts in the city right-of-way at the entrance of the Graw Alley, Harmerstown Museum located at 115 Market Street, and to authorize the mayor to execute such lease.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary. Council, I motion to adopt 2022-29.
So moved. Second.
Motion by the Council President, seconded by Councilmember Robertson. Questions or comments on the resolution? Councilmember Shanegas.
Yes, as Harmerstown Arts Center, it brings together the arts, history, and community of Havre de Grace and the region in a centralized location within the heart of the city of its vibrant art district. The city is extending a lease waiver for 10 years to use this area, and I think it's going to be a fantastic addition to the walkway down Market Street. It will be at the entrance. It will welcome folks into the Art Center, Graw Alley, and it will provide access for historic artifacts to be on display, which will be an educational opportunity for all of our citizens.
Thank you, Councilmember Shenegis. Any other further questions or comments? Council, this is going to be a roll call vote on Resolution 2022-29. Council President.
Yes.
Councilmember Robertson.
Yes.
Councilmember Boyer.
Yes.
Councilmember Shenegis.
Yes.
By roll call vote of 4-0 in the affirmative, City Council resolution concerning a lease agreement for installation of historic artifacts at 115 Market Street has been approved and adopted by council. Thank you. We're going to go to ordinances. Item 12, ordinance number 1084 concerning an extension of the temporary moratorium on short-term rentals. This is going to be second reading, and I'll hand this off to the council president.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I make a motion to introduce ordinance number 1084 concerning an extension of a temporary moratorium on short-term rentals for second reading and adoption.
Council, I have a motion by the council president. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Robertson. This is a motion to introduce 1084 on second reading. Questions or comments on the introduction? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The motion to introduce 1084 on second reading carries 4-0 in the affirmative. Madam Secretary, could you please read the header one more time into the record?
Yes, an ordinance by the Mayor and City Council of Havre de Grace, Maryland, adopted pursuant to the authority of Article 11-E of the Maryland Constitution, the local government article, and the land use article of the annotated Code of Maryland, and Sections 33 and 34 of the Havre de Grace City Charter, to extend the temporary moratorium on the approval and issuance of permits within the city's municipal limits for short-term rentals.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary. Council, I have a motion to adopt 1084 on second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Boyer, seconded by Councilmember Robertson. Questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor, Council, anybody who's been paying attention, you've seen the multiple public hearings and work groups we've had on the short-term rentals like Airbnb and Vrbo, and what we want to do is we want to figure out how we can regulate this the proper way. I believe with government, which governs least, governs best. So we're working on this to try to right-size our legislation, and we just need a little bit more time. We currently have a moratorium in place. It's expiring. We just need a little bit more time to work on it. So this is what this is extending that.
Thank you very much, Council President. Any other further questions or comments? Council roll call vote. Ordinance 1084. Second reading. Council President Ringsacher.
Yes.
Councilmember Boyer.
Yes.
Councilmember Robertson.
Yes.
Councilmember Shenegis.
Yes.
By roll call vote of 4-0 in the affirmative, City Council Ordinance 1084 is adopted and approved on second reading. Item B, Ordinance 1085, concerning amending Chapter 25 of the Youth Commission. And this is going to be a second reading, and we'll hand this off to the liaison to the Youth Commission, Councilmember Robertson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, fellow council members, I move to introduce on second reading ordinance number 1085.
Council, I have a motion by Councilmember Robertson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Shenegis. This is a motion to introduce ordinance 1085 on second reading. Questions or comments on the introduction? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Motion to introduce ordinance 1085 on second reading is approved 4-0. Madam Secretary, could you please read the header for 1085 once again into the record?
Yes, an ordinance by the Mayor and City Council of Havre de Grace, Maryland, adopted pursuant to the authority of Article 11-E of the Maryland Constitution, the local government article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, and Sections 33 and 34 of the Havre de Grace City Charter to amend Chapter 25, Article 8, Youth Commission.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary. Council, I have a motion to adopt 1085 on second reading.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Councilman Robertson, seconded by Council President. Questions or comments? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote on 1085. Councilman Robertson?
Yes.
Council President Ringsager?
Yes.
Councilmember Shanegas?
Yes.
Councilmember Boyer?
Yes.
By roll call vote of 4-0 in the affirmative, City Council Ordinance 1085 concerning amending Chapter 25, Article 8, Youth Commission is approved and adopted on second reading. Okay, thank you very much, Council. We're going to go to item 13, old business. This evening, we have no old business. Takes us to item 14, new business, and we have a couple things going here. We have a budget amendment and a special events application. So we're going to start with the budget amendment, and the chair of the Finance Committee, Councilman Robertson.
Mr. Mayor.
Got a glass of water?
Fellow council members.
Water over there?
I move to approve Budget Amendment 2023-02.
Second.
Council, I have a motion by Councilmember Robertson and seconded by Councilmember Boyer. This is a motion to approve a budget amendment, 2023-02, which is carry forward to fiscal year 2022 capital projects and adjust the beginning of year fund. Questions or comments? Councilman Robertson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick for your awareness for the folks at home and here. This is essentially just readjusting the beginning of the year fund balance for FY23 in the city. Just like the state, it starts, the fiscal year starts in July. And you know, it's really kind of difficult to nail down what the ending balance of the close of the prior fiscal year would be, and understand the beginning of the fiscal year until like the audits are done and a lot of contracts that are up in the air and all that stuff. So this is basically realigning the beginning fund balance for fiscal year 23, which started in July, and also reprioritizing projects that either didn't get finished in the last fiscal year or you know, the thought behind some of the projects are being realigned.
Thank you very much, Councilman Robertson. Any other questions or comments? Okay. I have a motion by Councilman Robertson, second by Councilman Boyer. Council is a budget amendment. If you wouldn't mind, I'll just get a roll call vote on this. We'll start with Council President.
Yes.
Councilman Robertson.
Yes.
Councilmember Shanegas.
Yes.
And Councilmember Boyer.
Yes.
By roll call vote of 4-0 in the affirmative, Budget Amendment 2023-02 is approved by council. Now, we have some numbers to read into the record here. You ready, Councilman Robertson?
I'm ready for this very unnecessary exercise.
Okay.
So I guess we can talk about, yeah, from and tos always work, I think. So all these numbers are in the from column. Account number 01-0001-49-00, funds transfers, ARPA negative $76,500. Account number 01-0001-49-98, BOY fund balance, that's beginning of the year, fund balance negative $585,600. Account number 08-1809-49-02, beginning of the year, fund balance $793,300 for Marina Fund 8. Water and Sewer, Fund 9, account number 09-0001-49-00, funds transfers, ARPA, $2,516,800. Account number 09-0001-49-01, appropriated retained earnings, -$483,300. Account number 09-0001-49-27, DHCD bond proceeds, $5,196,300, for a grand total of $7,361,000. Now in the 2 column, General Fund, account number 01-1091-6508, Star Center renovation, -$317,100. Account number 01-1242-6501, car wash, -$55,000. Account number 01-1251-7094, Burns property rehabilitation, -$20,000. Account number 01-1251-7099, DPW yard heated garage, $120,000. Account number 01-1251-7100, tourism building rehab, $30,000. Account number 01-1251-7101, portable band stage, $150,000. Account number 01-1251-7102, Visitors Center Rehabilitation, $30,000. Marina Fund 8, account number 08-1839-6501, fuel tanks and dispensers, $793,300. Water and Sewer Fund 9, account number 09-1231-9024, WTP upgrades, $257,600. Account number 09-1231-9029, WTP intake repairs, $99,900. Account number 09-1231-9032, solids handling facility, $1,857,500. Account 09-1232-6501, sewer truck, $45,000. Account number 09-1232-9048, water line upgrades, $868,100. Account number 09-1232-9051, Route 40 water transmission line, $1,968,200. Account number 09-1232-9056, Commerce Street sewer line, $117,900. Account number 09-1232-9057, Old Bay Lane Water Main Extension, $65,500. Account number 09-1232-9058, National Guard Pump Station Line, $58,600. Account number 09-1232-9059, Route 155 Water Transmission Line, $22,400. Account number 09-1232-9060, Erie Street Sewer Main Rehab, $136,200. Account number 09-1245-9042, Lafayette Street Pump Station Rehab, $187,000. Account number 09-1245-9043, National Guard Pump Station Rehab, $1,531,100. Account number 09-1245-9044, odor control upgrade, $7,600. And account number 09-1245-9046, Woods Pump Station, $7,200, for a grand total of $7,361,000. You guys need me to repeat that?
Back online.
One or two.
Councilmember Robertson, thank you very much. Mr. DeHorty, did you catch all those numbers, and to your knowledge, were they accurate? Okay. Councilmember Robertson, thank you very much. Okay, we're going to item B. Item B, special events, Tales and Treats Pet Fest, and I'm going to hand that off to the Director of Administration.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council, before you this evening, one special event application. It's Tales and Treats Pet Fest, sponsored by the Friends of Concord Point Lighthouse. It'll be held at the Lighthouse grounds. The on-site contact person is Ms. Carol Allen. The event starts at 1 p.m. and runs till 5 p.m. on the 30th. Setup is 10 a.m. Breakdown is at 6 p.m. There will be an anticipated 75 participants. No food nor alcohol will be served. Toward the back of your packet, you'll see a site map that was provided, insurance certificate, and also the call sheet, which is $0 for PD and $120 for DPW. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gamatori. Council, I have a motion to approve.
Second. Casey.
Motion by the Council President, seconded by Councilmember Boyer.
Change my voice.
Questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Tales and Treats Pet Fest, October 30th, 2022, 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock at Concord Point Park. The event is approved by council 4-0. Thank you very much, council. We're going to move on to item 15, Director's Reports. And we're going to start off with the Director of Administration himself, Mr. Gamatori.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple items, council. One is just a reschedule of the Out of Darkness event that was canceled this past weekend. The group would like to reschedule for November the 5th. We've checked the schedule of events through Mrs. Brinkman, and that date is available for that event. So it'll be November the 5th. Same time, same bat station. Yes, Chief.
Yes, the only thing I would ask is, can we find out from them exactly when they intend to walk? We are recommending between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, because that's always been kind of open-ended, and the event has then been extended.
It'll be at 8:30.
Very good, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you finished?
I have a couple more things.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't.
As far as this is concerned, just for council's understanding, so we needed to change that. Some weeks ago, we had Mr. Ben Getz come in to speak to us about a film shoot that he's taking on. He provided some information that we requested, the council requested. He is providing site maps. Just so the general public is concerned, DPW and PD, the first shoot will occur on October the 7th. It's just in a very isolated area of Lodge Lane, but will impact some on the 400 block of Boardman Street for a short period of time. So I've asked him to put a map together and also reach out to the neighborhoods there, because there are some neighbors that are tough to get along with. In all seriousness, and we're also going to have a number of these isolated shoots that are going to be springing up. So we've asked him just to kind of put together a notification plan for all the neighborhoods, especially the downtown and especially the 400 block of Boardman Street. So we'll have more information that'll get passed out as it comes available. He's supposed to follow up later this evening or tomorrow morning. Again, some time ago, there was a gentleman that came before council, and I think he provided a PowerPoint presentation on the seagrass and how it's impacting the marinas. He had reached out to me earlier today. He's going to, I think, come back to council. I put him in contact with Council President Ringsacker to follow up on that. The administration did follow up after his presentation with DNR, and it was really because it's outside of the bulkhead and the waters really our jurisdiction. We had no jurisdictional ability to do anything. I think he's looking for some legislation on the disposal of the seagrass. With that said, speaking of waterways. Again, some time ago, we had a gentleman, Mr. Greg Fromm, came in and spoke to us about the no-wake zone along the shoreline from Concord Point up to the Lock House. He was successful in his efforts. He followed up and did a presentation down at the General Assembly, and as well as with DNR and Coast Guard. So they have granted him a temporary no-wake zone. They're going to try it for 1 season. And most everyone I've spoke to that was involved with this along the waterfront, everyone seems to be very pleased. And we feel like that will also help us a bit with the living shoreline, not getting a lot of wave action. So just a couple follow-ups there. And lastly, as the administrative representative for the Arts Commission, they will be holding a luncheon at the Vandiver on October the 16th, 2022. It's their luncheon with. It's from 12. Luncheon starts at 12, presentations at 1. This year they have the guest speaker will be Louisa May Alcott, the author of Little Women. So any council members that are interested and want to support the Arts Commission, I can get you in contact with Ms. Swam, and you can get tickets and participate in that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gamatoria. We're going to go over to our Director of Planning, Mr. Tim Boursier. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. We have September's permit numbers. There was only 1 new construction, 7 renovation and addition permits, and that includes decks and that sort of thing, and then 25 other permits. That includes everything from use and occupancy, request to look at landscaping plans, just sort of the catch-all. So again, the same trends that we've been seeing, not a lot of new construction, but people fixing up their properties that they just purchased and doing things to make those nicer. We have had a lot of people come in with different business ideas that they want to run across us to make sure they can do those things on their property and that sort of thing. So it seems the economy is still churning. It's just not churning in the new construction department. Just a reminder for everybody who's here and is watching, we're still trying to gather input for our comprehensive plan. If you go to the city's website and go to the planning page, you can find our story maps. There are 7 different story maps where you can leave input on a variety of topics that we'll use for the comprehensive plan. And just lastly, Mr. Miller spoke tonight about one of the statutes. He's a member of the Planning Commission, and in the last Planning Commission meeting, we presented the accessory dwelling units ordinance and the short-term rental ordinance and the lot of record ordinance he discussed tonight. He had mentioned that in his comment at that time, and I've already made a revision and sent that out to the group. The Planning Commission will meet again on October 24th, and second reading of that ordinance is planned for the first council meeting in November in front of this body. So just to note, when citizens talk about these things or members of Planning Commission or whatever, we do address them and amend things as necessary.
Thank you very much, Ms. Boursier. Appreciate the comments. We're going to go with Ms. Bridget Johnson, Director of Economic Development and Tourism. Good evening, Ms. Johnson.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and citizens at home. Today we had our pre-proposal meeting for the construction of the transient pier at the foot of Green Street. The meeting went well. We had 17 interested companies that are hopefully going to bid on this project. The RFPs are due into the city on October 21st by 2 p.m., but this was a mandatory pre-proposal meeting, so if they did not attend the meeting today, they will not be able to bid on the project. Economic Development Week is coming up, October 24th through the 28th. I mentioned this at the last council meeting. We are planning an event for one day that week, probably on Wednesday. Julie Ronke, our Main Street manager, is working on that project. Scott Elliott is the new chair of our Economic Development Advisory Board. We meet on the third Wednesday of each month here in council chambers. The meeting date and time will remain the same. However, we're changing EDAB a little bit to represent more of a workshop session versus a meeting where we just come out and report to each other. So at the last meeting in September, EDAB decided that it will focus on working with our planning department on the comprehensive plan and Vision Havre Grace, particularly the economic development and tourism section, the downtown restoration plan, and the return of the Martha Lewis skipjack, which is well underway. So we look forward to the direction that EDAB is taking under the new chair, Scott Elliott. The rest of my report has to do with marketing and tourism. Recently, the Department of Economic Development and Tourism was giving some extra responsibilities, which we're happy to have, in marketing for the Star Center and the city events. We're working well with Bambi and Lori, and we have Lee Schaefer, our new marketing consultant, spearheading this campaign. So we launched the Oktoberfest information this past Sunday. You will see more of that in the next coming 2 weeks. Oktoberfest is taking place on October 15th, and we will launch a teaser this week for the upcoming Oyster Feast. In addition to those two events, we will start working on the events that are scheduled for the Star Center all the way up until February or March. So we have an aggressive plan coming for marketing. Lee, at this moment, is working on our Facebook pages, our Instagram pages, our YouTube channels for consistency. And in the world of tourism, it is Explore Havre Grace. Explore Havre Grace will take you to our Facebook page, Instagram, and the YouTube channel. The tourism office attended the Maryland Motor Coach Show in Salisbury, Maryland last week. The tour operators are anxious to get the tours back on the road, and we are hoping to book some tours for 2023. This is more of our tourism programming, a little away from events, but our way to attract visitors and tourists during the week to the city of Havre Grace. Our public art trolley tour has been rescheduled for Wednesday, October 5th. That is this Wednesday. There is a tour at 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. If there is inclement weather on October 5th, we will let everyone know the evening of October 4th, and we may have to participate in this next year because this is the second time that we would have rescheduled. The Visitor Center is looking for a few volunteers, particularly to man the Visitor Center on Sundays. If anyone at home is interested, please call Lori at the Visitor Center, 410-939-2100. But we are really looking for 2 to 3 additional people to help us out in the staffing of the Visitor Center. The planning for our upcoming Christmas holiday season has begun. That's another big project. So again, anyone interested, please call Lori and we will add you to that list. We are in a heavy recruitment phase and we'll probably come up with some type of campaign to recruit more volunteers. We are in need. If there are no further questions, we'll be quiet.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Anybody have any questions, Ms. Johnson? Thank you. Thanks for the thorough update. We're going to go with Mr. George DeHorty, Director of Finance. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council, citizens, both here and at home. First of all, thank you, council, for approving the budget amendment. This brings everything into the current year so we can monitor, you can monitor, and we can report on it during this year, all of the last year carryover stuff. And so it'll just blend right into what we report on for the rest of the year. So thank you for that. In terms of our current financial condition, the general fund is sitting at just under $9.3 million. However, we expect it to be at about 10.1, so we're behind by about $800,000. Revenues have been $12.4 million, which is about $1.1 million behind where we thought we would be. However, it should be noted that by the ARPA, quarterly ARPA transfers look like they're going to be right about $1.1 million, which will take care of that deficit by the end of October when we make that happen. Fund 9, fund balance is sitting at a deficit of just under $260,000. The budget estimate was that we would have a little over $1 million by this time, so we're about 1.3 below budget. Revenues have been just under $2.4 million. The budget expected it to be about $3.4 million. So we're about $1 million behind, but Friday we sent a drawdown request on the bonds for almost $1.3 million, which was all planned. It was in the budget, and the expenses have occurred. So that will bring that fund back to where we want it to be. And then for the Marina Fund, the fund balance is sitting at little over $1 million. The budget figured we'd have a little less than $250,000, so it's about $800,000 to the good. And the biggest reason for that was the tank construction project that you just approved bringing up into this year. That covers $790 of the $800,000. So all three, because of your work, because of your legislative work today, we should be back online with everything, and most of it's just timing. And that's my report for this evening, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Horty. Anybody have any questions for George? Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mr. E.J. Malizer, Director of Public Works. How you doing tonight?
Good afternoon. Doing well, Mayor. Thank you.
Good.
Mayor, Council President, council members, there are a lot of positive contributions from the Department of Public Works. I'm very proud of our team. Actually just finished up working at the National Guard pump station. So as a reminder, very short staffed, but the guys just finished up working out in the rain. As we speak, I got the text, so I just want to say shout out to those guys. Very proud of them. Always show up on time and go the extra mile to keep us afloat. So I just want to give them a shout out. And I'll begin my report. From the citywide storm preparation to receiving kudos for clean facilities, our DPW team's been very busy since our last meeting. I do ask the citizens' patience with daily DPW task list growing, a team short-staffed due to holiday leave, injuries, and normal turnover, as I've announced at our previous meetings. We're currently taking applications for several driver laborers positions, and I've interviewed internally for our stormwater management candidate before potentially opening it up to the public. I know if any of you are interested, we're actively looking for quality workers and a dedicated workforce that'll keep growing, hopefully. A few other updates, along with the Boley Rock Tower, National Guard, pump station, wastewater treatment plant upgrades, preparing for upcoming events, and keeping the Star Center projects. We're firing on all cylinders. The DPW crew has been busy removing no parking signs and street sweeper signs throughout the city, exercising valves as preventative maintenance for winter. Teams have been painting curbs along Juniata Street to reinforce restricted parking area in front of Harris Field. The street's now prepped for the Warrior Walkway. Mr. Jimmy in there, I want to give him a shout out. And a request for a proposal is out for sidewalk connecting Harris Field to the bus stop area on Juniata. Keep everyone posted on the progress. The Living Shoreline and Water Street boat ramp projects are positively progressing. The bulkhead is approximately 50% completed. The boat ramp launch is nearly ready for concrete placement. I'll continue to provide everyone updates through the life cycle of these projects. Lastly, the Living Shoreline and Water Street boat, the Medal of Honor monument for Sergeant Alfred Hilton at David Craig Park. Site work has begun. Our DPW team is working with contracted electricians to help place the memorial and fix current lighting before the unveiling in early November. Just want to give a hefty shout out to Mr. Randy Taylor and Patrick Seipolt, who were in Florida this past weekend for Hurricane Ian. I'm glad they're safe, and we've been thinking about them. That's all. I'd like to open up for questions.
Any questions for Mr. Malizer? EJ, thank you very much. Great report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and citizens. I just want to briefly talk about the Maryland's Move Over law. It has been expanded, and it began, the new law, the expansion portion, began this past Saturday on October the 1st. And what the Maryland Move Over law basically requires is that motorists now have to make a lane change or slow down when they approach any vehicle that is stopped along the side of the road. If it stops standing parked, displaying any kind of warning signals. And the signals can be, their flashers, their flashing lights on, road flares, cones, anything like that. Again, if you recall, Maryland started this law several years ago, where if they saw a firefighter, emergency vehicles, law enforcement, you had to move over to the next lane or slow down. Well, now they have expanded that to any vehicle that is along the side of the road that is showing that it is in some type of an emergency. If you violate this law, it is a misdemeanor. There is a $110 fine and also 1 point on your driver's license. If the violation causes, if you violate the law and it causes a crash, the fine is $150 and 3 points on your driver's license. And if there is a death or serious injury that is a result of that, the fine is $750 and 3 points on your license. And again, just to remind everybody, that law was placed into effect to protect not only law enforcement, emergency responders, but any motorist who is in trouble or just needs some assistance. And it just keeps everybody safe. The other thing I want to mention is that we do have 2 new officers or at least 2 new people that are in the police academy right now. They started last Monday. They're still there, thank heaven. Which is always a really good thing. And thank you, EJ. We got one of them for you all. So we do appreciate that. And Ms. Johnson, if you get any volunteers that look like good prospects for police officers, please send them my way. And that would be it, Mayor.
Right. Thank you so much, Chief. Any questions for Chief Walter? Thank you. Thank you. I'll go to item 16, business from the mayor's office. So, a few things I'd like to discuss. So there was a hurricane in Florida this week, and as EJ said earlier, our own Mr. Seipold was down there. His house was a little farther north than Hudson, but the chief advisor to the mayor, Mr. Randy Taylor, when he wasn't so lucky, he went down and he has a place in Venice. And according to the radar images he kept showing us until he went Nordo on us on the afternoon of the storm, the eye wall was basically brushing against Venice. We didn't hear from him for a while, but he finally texted us to let us know that they're okay. And even though he has new construction, even the newer homes down there, may need some roofs. A lot of the communities are flooded. A lot of people can't get out of their communities. Yesterday he said Interstate 75 is still shut down. The sounds of first responder sirens are nonstop 24 hours a day. Power comes on for 10 minutes, goes out for 2 hours. Everybody's looking for tarps put on their roofs. Like I said, but his spirits are good. The spirits of his neighbors are good. So, we, we'll keep Randy Taylor and his family in our prayers and wish them safe recovery, and, we hope to see him back here in Havre de Grace soon. Speaking of hurricanes, it doesn't take much to, the city of Havre de Grace is no stranger to the effects of Mother Nature, whether it be windstorms, hurricanes, snowstorms, torrential downpours, flooding of rivers. We definitely live in an area that can see the worst of it. And like I say, just as a reminder, you never know what next week can bring. I remember my meteorologists always a lot of people follow this guy, Justin Burke, on Facebook. He was saying this is the 3rd quietest tropical season on record. There was not one named storm in June, July, or August. And who would have known that one of the worst hurricanes ever to hit America would happen? That's what happens when you start making records on Mother Nature. She doesn't like that. So, but be prepared, just people in Florida, just keep them in your prayers. It's just a bad situation. This Friday is First Fridays. It'll be our last First Fridays of the season, as was said earlier. We don't have one in November. We have Holly Jolly First Friday in December where we light the tree. So we hope the weather's good for the First Fridays this week. Looks like it's going to be pretty good. Looks like the weather's going to be cool. This Saturday, October 8th, is also the Pride Festival, Upper Chesapeake Bay Pride Festival at Concord Point Park from 2 to 6 as well. There'll be food and live music and a good time to be had by all. Trolley update. Boy, I tell you, so the trolley keeps rolling. It just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling, and it operated for 13 days in the month of September for a total of 141 hours of operation. Our trolleys drove a total of almost 2,000 miles, all electric, no gasoline, carrying a total of 3,334 passengers, which equals roughly 256 passengers a day being moved around our city. So trolley's doing well. But finally, what I would want to talk about is the passing of a friend of mine and a mentor, former Mayor of Havre de Grace, Wayne Daugherty. He passed away on September 21st, a couple weeks ago. For those of you who are watching this that are new to Havre de Grace, Mayor Wayne Daugherty was my predecessor. He was the mayor of Havre de Grace from 2007 to 2015. And we all have Wayne Daugherty stories. I mean, that go way back to when, Moby Dick was a minnow. But, yeah. But I'll never forget 2008. I was painting my house, and my sister called me up, and there was a couple open seats that year in the Havre de Grace city election. My sister asked me, she's like, you're really involved in the lock house and city stuff. You ever think about running for council? I'm like, well, I don't know a whole lot about politics. I mean, where I grew up in Spurn Park, we didn't have a mayor or council. There's no towns in Anne Arundel County. So I said, well, and my sister was friends with Wayne Daugherty. He said, well, Mayor Daugherty, I met him a few times. Like, well, Mayor Daugherty wants to meet with you. And I guess he was trying to recruit me to run. And so I'm like, well, where's City Hall at? Where's City Hall, Penton Avenue? Like, I didn't even know where City Hall was. I shouldn't be telling you this, but anyway, I just went down City Hall, and a lady named Joan Scarlato, let me in, walked me through the back hallways, and I'm going to the mayor's office, and Wayne always was a sharp dresser. He had a nice suit on from Joseph A. Banks, and I sat in his office, I'm thinking to myself, what am I doing here? I'm like, what? I mean, I don't belong here. I mean, I'm just going to tell him thanks, but no thanks, but he was just such, unassuming and a gentleman, and he gave everybody confidence. Like, oh, you'll be great at it. You'll be fine. You're a school teacher. School teachers will make great politicians. Ha, ha, ha. He was just like that. He made me feel at ease about the possibility of running for council. And I picked his brain. He told me what he knew. I threw my hat in the ring. Came in second that year, the city council meeting. And I don't know if I should thank him or I'm kidding. But but anyway, that's, I've been doing a lot of reflecting. A lot of people didn't know Wayne passed because I talked to his wife, Mary, and, knowing Wayne, he didn't want any burden to befall upon Mary or his son, Joseph. And he wanted to be, the funeral service, he said, I want to be in the ground before anybody finds out. And that was how Wayne was. He didn't want to be a burden on anybody. But, people know that he passed. And like I said, Wayne was at the helm of the city during some pretty tough financial times in this country. When he became mayor in 2007, everything was going good, but 2008, the economy tanked and the country went into recession. And citizens don't want to hear about that. They want the city to pave their streets. They pick up a phone, they expect the police to come. They want the ambulance to come and provide services, and the hose company to put out fires. And so being a mayor, during an economic recession like that is tricky, and he did a really good job at it. And he always worked with his directors to help the council make good decisions. And I remember we had an excellent director staff. I know George is still here, and the chief from those days left over. And I served with Steve during some of those times. So, like I said, Wayne was cut from an old cloth of the can-do attitude and generation of America. He didn't really care sometimes about the politics of how to get things done as long as it got done. And I considered him a friend and a mentor. It was an honor to serve with Wayne Darty. I'm convinced that he'll be remembered as, one of the best mayors the city have ever had. And love and prayers to his family, and my hat's off to a great man who served the city well. So with that said, I'll go to council comments. We'll start with Councilmember Shenegis.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Administration, folks in the audience and at home. I had a wonderful time this weekend meeting our guests from Mumbles, Wales. They're a lovely group of people, very spirited and passionate about their city, and them joining us here was just amazing to actually meet them and hear all of the exciting things that they've experienced for the first time in Havre de Grace. So I consider them kindred spirits, and I look forward to being able to spend some more time with them before they go and possibly visit them in Wales next summer. So with that said, I would like to encourage anyone that's interested in seeing a fashion show, a Devil Wears Prada fashion show and movie, sponsored by the Seroptimus of Havre de Grace. It will be November 5th at 6 p.m. at the State Theater. All the proceeds will go towards scholarships for higher education and or returning women into the educational scene after they've raised their families, etc. So it's a wonderful opportunity just to get out and see some fun fashion from our local community, as well as spend some time watching a good old-fashioned movie. So I want to say thank you to everyone for coming out tonight and helping us sign the charter and share the moments of joy where we get to, as a city, twin and go forward with a charter, a very fancy charter, and it's amazing just to see it. I've heard so many stories about the trip that folks went on and how exciting it was to meet everyone. Now that they're here, it really has come true. So thank you, and I wish you all a nice evening.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Shenegis. Good evening, Councilmember Boyer.
Thank you, Mayor. Everyone, thanks for hanging in there. It's been a long night. I want to jump on to what Mr. Gambertori was saying and encourage everyone to come out for the Havre de Grace Arts Commission event. If you've ever been to something like this, they're very interesting. It gives you a deeper understanding of the person who's being portrayed, and it's just a lovely afternoon luncheon and just opportunity to just delve deeper into this very amazing woman who wrote Little Women, Louisa May Alcott. She was, many people might not know, she was a student of Henry Thoreau, which explains a lot of why her writing is the way that it is. She encouraged young women at a time where it was more polite to be seen and not heard, but to take a stand and to say things. One of her quotes that I like is, "Let my name stand among those who are willing to bear ridicule and reproach for the truth's sake, and so earn some right to rejoice when the victory is won." And interestingly, she was one of the first women to vote in Massachusetts. So she was definitely a suffragist and encouraged women to not only get educated, but also stand up and vote for what they wanted to have happen in their lives. I want to also say for the people in Mumbles, again, a woman who stands up and has an idea. Deb Stathis, amazing. She came and she had this idea, and what is even more amazing, and I think part of why I absolutely love this community, is because we are a community of volunteers. Somebody will say, "Hey, I have an idea," and then the rest of us are like, Okay, well, let's do it. And living in a community like that, where it doesn't matter who it is among the community that says, hey, I have an idea. The fact that we all go behind them and say, okay, well, let's figure out how to get it done. That's the kind of place where people want to live. And that's why we need volunteers to step up, because we have so many great ideas. There's so many people who love this town, and they just want to add a little contribution to it so that when the victory is won, they can be there to rejoice in it. I want to give my condolences to the Daugherty family. My personal favorite memory of Mayor Daugherty is his Student of the Months. He loved every moment of recognizing the students. I know, for the council members who sat here, it probably made the meeting ungodly long. But putting the student in the middle there and the way that he personalized it and made them feel so special, that's another absolutely amazing thing about this town. And that's why our kids come back here and they raise their families here, because they know that they were recognized as important members of the community, so much so that the mayor will spend their time getting to know them. And I know we stopped doing it because of COVID, but I really hope, Mayor, that we can bring the students back again this year, because that is probably one of the most cherished things, to see the students as they grow through the years, to come back time and time again. We hear that they're fabulous in elementary school, they're fabulous in middle school, and they rock it in high school, and then they go out and they come back and they're part of our community. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Boyer. Good evening, Councilmember Robertson.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, fellow council members, city staff, ladies and gentlemen here and at home. Just one quick thing, and that's that this Saturday from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Pavilion at the Legion will be, the Sons of American Legion are putting on an Italian food festival. So this Saturday from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Pavilion at the American Legion, 501 St. John's, right down by the water, Italian food festival. And they will have carryout as well. So just stop by, grab some food, support them. That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Robertson. And good evening, Council President Ringsager.
Mr. Mayor, Council, most of the stuff has been talked about tonight. You know, again, thank you so much to our delegation from Wales. Wonderful having them all here. It was great meeting them all, and I do, too, look forward to getting over there. I went to renew my passport. It's too long expired. They sent it back and said I have to send in all my other stuff, so it means I have to find my birth certificate again. So, or my certificate of American birth abroad, whatever it's called. I'm going to have to find it. It's somewhere. I don't know. Let's see here. The Pride Festival, again, coming up. Taking my family this weekend. Going to have a good time. Looking forward to the Oktoberfest the weekend after that. Make sure you come out and support us. I'll be pouring beer from noon to whenever. And looking forward to that. Warrior Proud moment. JV football has won 2 back-to-back football games despite the varsity not winning one yet. So my son keeps on bringing that up, that they have a winning record. But you know, the boys look really good out there. It was a tough loss this past week, but you know, we've got some good teams coming up that I think that we'll be able to break through on, and you know, so hopefully we'll do well. The one kid that got hurt, an update on him is that he's doing considerably better. He did show up to Joppatown last week. He got hit in the back. I showed up Joppatown in a wheelchair, and I understand that he's going to physical therapy, and he's able to walk with a walker, so they don't expect any long-term issues with him, so keep him in your prayers. As for the passing of Brother Wayne Doherty, good friend of mine, my favorite memory was when we were able to walk across the Route 40 bridge with the girl who was walking across the country to raise money for Shriners Hospitals for Children. A woman named Anna who just decided she wanted to walk across the country, and this was one of the paths that she'd chosen, and Wayne was able to get us an escort across the bridge to walk across, and so she could make it all the way up to Philadelphia and then into Boston. So that was my favorite memory with Wayne Doherty. So with that, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Thank you very much, Council President. So it's item 18, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by the Council President, seconded by Councilmember Schneges. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Motion to adjourn carries 4-0 in the affirmative. The time is now 9:18. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a good couple of weeks. We'll see you back here in 2 weeks. Thank you.